Best bet action from Vegas Runner, the battle between Texas and Oklahoma State. Can't wait to see this one. Texas laying 3 with a total of 66.5, but that's not how it opened. In fact, one book decided to jump out ahead of everybody else. They made Oklahoma State a 2-point favorite, and what we've seen since then is not only a 5-point line move going out to the Texas Longhorns being the field goal favorite. Part of the reason is Wes Lunt, the starting quarterback for Oklahoma State, a little bit banged up. Mike Gundy, the head coach for Oklahoma State, I don't know if he's playing games here with Texas, making them prepare for 2 different kinds of quarterbacks or not, but he says he will not release the information on whether it'll be Lunt or J.W. Walsh as his starting quarterback until Friday afternoon.
I absolutely love this. I'm trying to make it 4 in a row on best bets, and I'm going to go with the home dog here, Oklahoma State. Here's why. I love when the betting market overreacts to injuries, suspensions, or weather. When that overreaction happens, fading it always gives you value.
Giants, Panthers.
Exactly, exactly. But you got to really take a look and see, is it justified? Because sometimes it is. If it's a blizzard out and no one's going to be able to move the ball, then a 7-point line movement on the total may be justified. So you don't fade that. But in this case, I'm praying that Lunt doesn't start because I absolutely love J.W. Walsh in this spot. Here's why. You look at Lunt. He's a good quarterback. He's a pocket passer. 4 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, nothing to brag about. Top 25 recruit coming out of high school. He's a true freshman. J.W. Walsh, redshirt freshman, top 10 high school quarterback recruit. And last game against UL Lafayette, when he came in, he only led this team to break the school total yardage record. He only threw for 4 touchdowns. Right. So this kid's been waiting for this spot. He's been waiting to come out and shine.
Let me ask you this, since you're talking about the quarterbacks right now, because, that was against UL Lafayette.
True,
of course, they've got a huge pedigree difference there. The reason he wasn't named the starter at the start of the season, and they went with Wes Lunt, is because Lunt is the typical Mike Gundy quarterback in this offense. He'll remind people of Brandon Whedon when Whedon was there, the same thing, where J.W. Walsh is one of those kids who says, man, I don't see anybody open.
I'll tuck it.
Yeah, I'm going to tuck it and run. And it works really well against a lesser opponent like UL Lafayette. Does that bother you at all when you're looking at this game?
Because of the Texas defense, obviously it's something you got to look at. But the thing about him being a dual threat, I really think it's a positive. Because of the fact Oklahoma State also has running backs. So Texas is going to have to look out for the run anyway. Now, all of a sudden, you got a kid that could not just hand it off, but when he's back there, you can't relax and start just covering the receivers now, And I think that's going to give them a huge edge. Now, you're right. Against UL Lafayette, it's a huge edge for the Oklahoma State side, obviously. But with that said, I think the 2 weeks, the bye week, is such a positive for Oklahoma State. Now, all of a sudden, you've had this kid play in real game situation with the team against UL Lafayette. It's better than practice. And you've also had 2 weeks
with the starters.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, that's the perfect storm if you're going to put a kid in.
Right.
And that's why I really think, Scott, that this is an overreaction by the betting market. They're going to look at this Texas team who has double revenge on their side. I've already heard that. That's how it came out. I heard it already. I listened to it on the radio. I've seen it on TV. Double revenge, double revenge, double revenge. I don't care.
Let me ask you
this
about
one's
David
at Oklahoma State.
Let me ask you about, he's the starting quarterback for Texas now. He's had this great start to the season, 76% passer. He's got a passing yards per attempt average of like 10 so far this season. I almost took Ole Miss in that game a couple of weeks ago when Ole Miss hosted Texas. Luckily, I held back, and the Longhorns went crazy, beat them 66-31. The Rebels not quite where they want to be yet.
No.
But the cameras were on, and Ash played pretty well on the road against decent defensive individual opposition, maybe not so much as a team yet, talking about Ole Miss. He's going to face a defense for the first time this season that has the utmost confidence that they can not only handle David Ash because they shut him down last year when they met, but also they know they can beat Texas. And it's like they're the big brother.
And they're home this year.
Exactly. And they're kind of the big brother giving noogies to the little brother in this one, when it used to be Texas was the other way around. When Texas was the team that brought in that swagger and that confidence, it's the Cowboys who have that now. But as far as Ash, do you think it's that much of an improvement over last year, or do you think it's the opposition?
I think it's the level of opposition, because when you look at both of these offenses right now, the numbers are so skewed. I mean, you have a Texas team that's averaging 49 points a game. You have an Oklahoma State team averaging 62 points a game. That's skewed based on the level of competition. Obviously, these are efficient good offenses. But with that said, Texas will not be averaging 49 points a game when this season's over, even in the Big 12, which is a higher scoring conference, because this year they got some defense. Kansas State could play some defense, Oklahoma could play some defense, and Oklahoma State could play some defense. So I think it's a little bit skewed, and I think we're going to see the real Ash, who coming into the season, no one gave him the #1 job. It was kind of a little quarterback competition, dual quarterback thing with McCoy. So that's how I look at it.
I agree with you. Anyway, this is your best bet. Tell us who you like, Texas, Oklahoma State.
Big 12 action. Texas now a 3-point favorite on the road against Oklahoma State, who's beaten them 2 times in a row on the road. They're going to make it 3 with this one. Grab the points. A little security never hurts. But here's another typical overreaction of the betting market because of a quarterback injury. But guess what? The backup's even better than the starter. So let's hope he gets to play.
He's VR. His best bet on the show is the Oklahoma State Cowboys plus that big, fat, juicy field goal. Don't forget, last year Oklahoma State not only sacked Ash 5 times, they picked him off twice. 8 defensive starters back for Oklahoma State this season. Hey, don't forget, we got more to come. Sunday NFL. VR and I are going to break down the battle between the Patriots and Bells. Stick around right here at pregame.tv.